Hi, everybody, and welcome to the halftime show on Moohead Radio with the score 10-7, Jacksonville over the Browns. As you can see, a different location. This is the Florida studio, although there are boxes in the house surrounding me because this home was recently renovated and is a mess. We didn't know we were coming back to this. So sorry about the backdrop. Shit happens. Let me start the program by likening a sports thing to a music thing. Brian Eno, who was the music producer of the late David Bowie and also the original keyboard player for the band Roxy Music, created a musical concept called oblique strategies. And oblique strategies were basically you took random chords and threw them into a hat and basically drew them out of a hat. So music was created through pure chance. And so the Oblique Strategies album by Brian Eno, which was electronic music that was derived from literally mathematical chance. No, it wasn't very good. No, you don't give it a 10. And no, you can't dance to it, Dick Clark. You're saying, Mr. Moohead, what does this have to do with football? Well, my belief is the Cleveland Browns offense is an oblique strategy. It is something that is basically a collection of odds. Let's just put it that way. Just mathematical odds. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, one good drive, 3 and out, 3 and out, okay? Here's the way it works. And, of course, the interception. There are some things that are not just mathematically derived. It's not like we can say, well, DeShone Kizer throws X number of interceptions per pass, and we're certain that he's going to do that. And that's a constant mathematical value. Not at all. But we know he's going to throw them. We just don't know how many. But the idea here is that by randomly sending the offense out onto the field, from a strategic perspective, the outcome is fairly predictable. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Not one drive where a couple of passes are completed and the ball gets stuck in the end zone. Now, here's the problem with oblique strategies, as Brian Eno found out and why he terminated the idea. One, there are no commercial possibilities for it. B, it didn't really create beautiful music. And 3, it just was a one-off. We've got Kizer as our quarterback, who is the ultimate oblique strategy quarterback. He's just inconsistent. Or you could look at it the other way. He's consistently inconsistent. The direct result of this is that the only mathematical constants that I see in Kizer's performance is that he's late throwing the ball and he's inaccurate throwing the ball. A number of examples. The interception was a ball that he has lousy field vision too, but the ball just comes out of his hand late. And the result is people cut in front. The thing that's amazing is the defense consistently catches his pass better than his own offense does. But another one where Rashard Higgins was open, he was rolling against his body and just threw it so mechanically unsoundly going to his left that the ball was just spiked into the ground and Higgins had no chance for it. We see over and over again the inaccuracies in this quarterback. The other thing that we see is when he's out of the pocket and flushed, he's really unable to keep any vision down the field and make a play. The second you flush him out of the pocket, you know he's simply going to throw the ball out of bounds, which just allows the defense to take a breather. These are the constant mathematical values of Kizer. Then we have the other side of the coin, which is how is it possible that Ricardo Lewis is still playing on this football team? And this is what points to more problems as far as the front office is concerned. Somebody doesn't want to admit they made a drafting mistake. It is a incomprehensible thing. Incomprehensible. That a guy who goes out and literally drops 30% of the balls that are thrown at him. And that's what it's been this year, folks. he has dropped 30% of the balls that were thrown to him. It's just bizarre. Yet he's still out on the field. And, you know, Casey Williams was released, and we saw him catch the football. I mean, does it matter how fast you are if you literally can't catch the football? Isn't the first, I mean, look at it from you know, Fred Blitnikoff back in the 70s, you know. He wasn't fast, but he could catch the ball. Keenan McCardell was not fast. He's the receiver coach for Jacksonville now, but he could catch the football, right? Steve Largent was the greatest example of a guy who wasn't fast, who could catch the football. Or Brian Brennan, former Cleveland Brown, wasn't fast, but knew how to run a pattern. What is the deal with Ricardo Lewis? He simply can't catch the football. Has there ever been a wide receiver in the NFL who has succeeded being unable to catch the ball 30% of the time? I don't think so. And in fact, my good friend Mr. Celery says, woohoo! Mr. Celery is ecstatic. He saw a touchdown today on a ball that, through oblique strategies, was thrown right on the money to Duke Johnson. That's the one out of however many that would get thrown on the money. The rest of the time, nah, total inaccuracy. As far as the running game is concerned, why would it surprise you that we can't run the ball against the #1 defensive team in the league? As for Doug Marrone Marone's a shitty head coach, and this is what we call the aberration year for this team, because they cannot win with Blake Bortles playing at quarterback. Their 6-3 is an illusion. I could easily see Doug Marrone's team being 4-12 next year. Seriously. I know Fournette's a pretty good back, but I'm looking at what they've got behind center, and you know, and the fact that they're getting a lot of turnovers, their defense is doing very well. These things all kind of look like that Eric Mangini, one good season kind of guy. And after that, it can really go downhill very, very quickly. I'm not impressed with either team. The snowfall looks like it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And Spencer Drango must have never seen cold weather in his life, because he must be thoroughly arthritic. I'm watching Spencer Drango in space, and that's scary. I mean, he's getting beat by anybody who runs close to him. It is not a good situation. As for Kaiser having time to throw the ball, I mean, even on 3-step drops, he doesn't really have, he has a collapsible pocket. But the real problem, it's just a multitude of problems. It isn't just one thing. It's just a multitude of problems. And the only certainty in all this is the consistency that the team doesn't play very well. Now, I'll say this for the Browns. They haven't committed a lot of penalties in this game. So you can say, with the exception of the interception, we've played a clean game, but we're still behind, because you trot the quarterback out on the field and it's, 7 out of 8 times it's 3 and out. And the defense will get tired, get pushed around in the second half. Fournette will run through them, and they'll end up running up the score, just running the football and running the clock out, because it appears that that's what Doug Marrone's content doing, because that's what Eric Mangini was content doing, is if he can win the game 10-7, he'll win the game 10-7. And leave it up to the oblique strategy Browns to be able to try to score more points when they just can't. Wow. Is there any good news in all this? I'd say that Njoku spent too much time on the beach, because he hasn't shown up whatsoever. But what opportunities have there been? If the quarterback doesn't cite you, then you don't see the ball. And why anyone at this point would think that Kaiser is a quarterback of the future. Again, I read all of the stuff in the forums, and I just shake my big cow head and I say, no. I mean, you can't possibly think that way and know anything about football whatsoever. I mean, throwing the ball late in a league where guys are this fast is just impossible. You can't do it, because somebody will cut in front. The window of opportunity to complete passes is so narrow. You're not gonna be able to do it. Here's another one for you. So on the opening kickoff, if Matthew Days really had any speed, he would have been able to outrun a linebacker and take that ball to the house. Okay, now I'm not complaining about a 53-yard, kickoff return, but what I am saying is it just shows more lack of speed. He's a lot like Duke Johnson. He's a guy who's elusive. Matthew Days is a guy who could go out in the pass pattern and catch passes for you, but he's not a guy who has breakaway speed. And he's blazing fast compared to Jabril Peppers, who is just, I can't imagine. Did you see him return the one punt? I mean, he's cutting back. He's cutting. There's no acceleration. He can't hit the hole. I'm used to seeing, a guy like Cribbs took a while to get up to speed, but when he got up to speed, he was like a sprinter, yeah? And then I've seen guys like Metcalf, who just had the ability to cut and accelerate on a dime. And I've seen guys like Travis Benjamin, who were just flat out fast. What is Jabril Peppers? What is he? He's a fair catching machine who looks like a statue when he tries to return punts. I don't understand why anybody would think this guy could be an effective safety. My goodness, he doesn't have closing speed. None of this makes sense to me. Why we draft these people, they don't have the requisite skill sets to play the positions they're being asked to play. It's just unfathomable. The only thing that is fathomable is that we're marching toward our 0-16 season, and we're 10-7 or 10-7 down. And we have a chance in this one. And it's like, not with Mr. 3 and out, we don't, because the defense is just, Marone is just going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And, he's going to throw screen passes to make those linemen run after running backs. He's going to get the team tired and just jam the ball down our throat. Because if all else fails with Blake Bortles as your quarterback, you can always count on the Browns offense not being able to sustain anything. Duke Johnson, he ran the ball once from scrimmage. That's all. And as far as Crowell is concerned, between the tackles, yes, but the outside runs never gain any yardage. Why does Hugh Jackson keep calling outside runs when all that happens is Crowell falls to the ground? These are the things that don't make any sense to me. It's the reason why we need new head coach. It's the reason why we need a new quarterback, why we need an infusion of talent and speed. There's just any number of things that we need. Well, that's that. I mean, there's nothing much else for me to say except there is a second half coming. And as long as that's the case, there is always hope that the Browns could somehow tip a ball. Ogba's playing a good game, by the way. He could get his big paw up, bat a ball up in the air, and somebody could take it to the house. I suppose anything's possible. But you know something? When you see a guy like Yeldon fumble the ball like that, and all these Browns are around, and yet Jacksonville still recovered the ball. Now, it didn't cost us in the field goal because Lambeau finally missed one. But, it's just ineptitude. The reason we don't get turnovers is we're just nowhere near where the ball is. And it's just like, you knew that the one guy who was in a Jaguar uniform was going to come up with the football somehow. As for injuries, well, Sammy Coates, can we just get rid of him, please? Sammy Coates is held together by Scotch tape. Every game he plays, he gets hurt. What is the point? The guy can't catch the football, and you're playing him on special teams, and he's held together with Scotch tape. So he's never going to play. So the speed that we have is Ricardo Lewis, can't catch the ball, and Sammy Coates, who can't catch the ball. None of this makes any sense to me whatsoever. At any rate, I'm finished talking about this half. I'll be back after the game. There will be a full post-game show after the Browns lose the second half to the Jaguars. Just remember, it's 10-7 now, and the first thing I'm going to tell you after the game is what the score was in the second half. Until after the football game, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads, and enjoy the second half.